There are a lot of people, who argue that during the Great Depression, the New Deal did nothing to help the economy or fix the economy or anything like that. But a lot of them don't really say what the solution should have been, except some argued lower taxes, cut taxes. Fair enough. But that's only one solution. And at the time, there were a lot of people who were not working, and cutting taxes really wouldn't have done anything. I mean, some would have argued that the taxes might have given corporations a bit more money to hire more people, but the fact of the matter is, it would have been only temporary. It just wasn't enough. But for me, what I liked about the New Deal, and the fact is, on a small note, the New Deal did help the economy. A lot of the programs in place did put people to work, did give people jobs, and did help put money back into the economy. But did it get us out of the Great Depression? No, of course not. Supposedly, World War II got us out of it. The fact of the matter is, most likely, we got out of the Great Depression naturally. Probably the way we get out of all depressions or recessions. But what I liked about the New Deal, for me, the key about the New Deal is, and it relates to what's going on today with the crisis going on now, is that the purpose of the New Deal was to provide relief to the people at the time who either didn't have jobs or who had low paying jobs or people who were, it was to give temporary relief to people who were struggling, to help them get through this until things got better, until the depression fixed itself. That was a lot of the point. Now, the Roosevelt, Congress, business leaders actually attempt to help the economy and fix the economy directly? Yes, they did. But a lot of the relief programs, were there to simply help people get through this until it ended. And I don't have a problem with that. And I don't feel we really paid for it later on. That was the whole point. That's what it was really about. It wasn't a stimulus package, it was an aid package. It was just to help everybody get through it, and I agree with that. Now, there are some new regulations put in that stay, like, helping unions, Social Security, which was a government pension, what it was. And I would argue maybe we didn't really need Social Security at the time, but I've got to do some more research on this because I'm thinking maybe at the time corporations did give pensions after you retired, which to me would mean you really didn't need the Social Security at the time. But I'd have to look at the incomes and the level of income people had from the pension. I don't know that for sure. But if we had pensions from corporations at the time, you didn't need Social Security. Now, you do need Social Security because most companies, unless you work for the government, have gotten rid of pensions and replaced them with a 401k, which is just a lump sum you get after you retire at a certain age, 59 and a half. So at this point, I think we do need Social Security. We do need a sort of government pension to help offset the cost people are going to have when they retire, because 401k is a lump sum. It's going to run out. It's not permanent. It's not money that you keep getting. It's just a lump sum that'll eventually run out. Now, they keep saying that about Social Security, but Social Security is permanent. You keep getting it every month, a certain amount, based on the highest paid job you had. So right now, at this point, ironically, I think right now is when we need Social Security more than ever. We may have needed it back in the 30s, but remember, when it was passed back in the 30s, it was just a supplemental income. Again, it was just to help people get through the depression. But I think it was also a safety net, so in case we had a depression again, there was that permanent relief that would help people in the new times when we had a recession again to get through it. I also think that as well. But again, my point is that a lot of the New Deal programs were temporary relief, and a lot of them were meant to be temporary. Okay? But it was just to help people get through this. I'm thinking maybe Roosevelt knew there wasn't much the government could do to stop the Depression. I don't know for sure. That a lot of it was just him trying to help these people get through it. Wait it out, not struggle so much. Was it perfect? No. Could he have done more? Maybe. Did he do too much? Maybe he did. I personally feel he should have done enough to help the workers who were striking and gone after the strike breakers and all that. I didn't like that violence. I think he should have got after the cops and everybody and had the strikers protected, unless the strikers were starting the violence, creating the violence. But if they were just standing there holding signs, wanting more pay, they should have been left alone, and Roosevelt should have passed an order to stop those workers from being harmed if all they were doing was protesting and going on strike. Now, should companies have had the right to fire them if they went on strike? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, but In my opinion, if that's the only way you could get the company to do something, I say let them strike. And make sure the company doesn't have a right to fire them for that. And keep the police and these strike breakers from hurting. And that, I think, is a huge failure on Roosevelt's part. He should have done something about it, and he didn't. Because I know not all the workers started the fights. They didn't start the fight. They were just standing there and they found themselves getting shot at or getting beaten with clubs, etc. A prime example, is the soldiers, who were trying to get their pay earlier. I think Roosevelt could have found a way to give them the pay a bit earlier, but he at least handled it better than Hoover did. He didn't send in the troops, He just tried to comfort them and explain to them, maybe he did, I don't know, about how they couldn't help them at the time. But again, the thing about the New Deal that's missed is the point of it was to just help people through rough times until things got better. That was the whole point. And I don't think we suffered for it because we had a boom following the war. A lot of it had to do with the mass production we did during the war, too. But still, it helped us during the war, and we had a lot of prosperity. Following World War II, through the 50s and even 60s, had a lot of prosperity. And in the 70s, a lot of the reason we had a recession, a lot of the reason things went down was because of the oil war that the OPEC, started, whatever. I don't know, I had to read up more on what happened, but that's what caused a lot of our economy. And I think maybe Nixon getting us off the gold standard might not have been the best idea. But, and some argue maybe what Roosevelt did might have made the Depression worse. I haven't read much about it. All I've heard is that it didn't have much effect on it. I disagree. I think it actually had a lot of effect on it. It helped people through it, which was the whole point. I think, a lot of it. Some of the other programs were meant to help the economy going, true. But a lot of it was just to help people get through it until this was over. Which brings me to the crisis we have today. There's a lot of people, there are some who disagree with the $2 trillion stimulus package. It's misnamed. It's not a stimulus package. It's an aid package. It's not there to stimulate the economy. It's not going to stimulate. The only way that's going to stimulate the economy, get the economy going again, is to open up all the businesses again and get everybody back to work. That's what's going to stimulate the economy. Okay, the economy's not going to be stimulated until that happens. And from what I've heard, what everybody has said, we can't open things up yet except the essentials. So we kind of have to just keep everything closed for right now until this passes. So it's an aid package. Okay, and I agree with it because it's helping people who have lost their jobs at no fault of their own because their employers had to close down, and it's not the employer's fault either. Now, you can argue the employers shouldn't have fired their workers. Now, my employer didn't fire me. I'm still employed. I just can't work right now because they've closed temporarily, but I'm not fired. But the purpose, I think, of this stimulus is to just help people get through this until this crisis is over that we're going through right now. Like, a lot of people making $79,000 and under is going to get like a check, and then people who go on unemployment are going to get their full pay that they got when they were working. Some of them might even get more of it, which I think is fine. It's going to be about 4 months, and I think it's fine because what happened was nobody's fault. This is nobody's fault. There's not much jobs out there to get except the groceries and the medical field. But if you have everybody working at these grocery stores, they're not going to be able to get the hours they need because the hours have been shortened. And they're not going to be getting as much money. So the stimulus package, the aid package is what it should be called, I think is good just to help people get through all this. The same way with the New Deal. That's the whole purpose. We can worry about the cost of it later on. Like some say it's going to lead to inflation or it's going to lead to the government control the economy. No, it's not going to happen. It's just to help people temporarily. It's 4 months. And it's not even that much money we're giving to these people. We're not giving them millions of dollars. We're just giving them to help them get through this, to be able to buy the things they need and get the things they need. Because a lot of people who are still employed but not able to work, they're not getting paid by their jobs. They have to get on unemployment. Okay? And it's just to help them until this ends. That's all it is. Is there the risk of it being permanent? Is there the risk that these people won't go back to work and that this whole thing will remain permanent? Sure, there's the risk of that. But people want to get back to work. People want to be working, okay? They don't want to be on unemployment for the rest of their lives. They don't, and it will stop, and they will remove this because there'll be pressure. And that's the thing. The people wanted this aid package, and they got it. And they'll eventually going to want to let it go when everybody's able to go back to work again. Most people want to work. They don't want to live off the government. Okay, but a lot of them are going to take the help right now just because they need it. And I don't have a problem with it. And to sit here and say, oh, this $2 trillion thing it's going to bankrupt the country. It's going to hurt the country. If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong here. We had two stimulus packages in 08 and 09. One from Bush and one from Obama. The country didn't go bankrupt. You take the cumulative amount of that stimulus package in 08 and 09, it was about probably $2 trillion. Right? That was, okay, 08 and 09 by Republican and Democratic president. We didn't go bankrupt. Now, you add that $2 trillion to this $2 trillion, $4 trillion on the economy. I might be wrong, but roughly $4 trillion on the economy from 08 to 2020. That's not very much money on the economy if you spread that out. So it's not going to bankrupt the economy, and it was necessary. Now, you can argue in 08, 09, some of the people who got the money, it might have been their fault. They bought houses they shouldn't have bought. They took out loans they shouldn't have taken out. Yeah, some of them were duped. Banks, AAA credit companies were approving loans they shouldn't have approved because they were getting bonuses for it. True. Some of it was the people's fault, some of it wasn't. But in this case, this whole crisis was none of our fault. It's not the corporations we work for our fault or our fault, okay? We're all unemployed, a lot of us. It's not our fault. And we shouldn't be punished for it. We should get a little bit of help until we're able to work again. And when we're able to work again, take the aid away. I'm fine with that, because then we won't need the aid anymore. But some think, well, how do we know when this is going to stop? When the deaths start going down. Okay? When people start recovering, and when the cases stop increasing, when it apparently has stopped spreading, that's when we know we can start to loosen things up a bit. Okay, as far as I know. But my point is, this aid package is necessary just to help people get through this. It's like, oh, you're paying people not to work. You're helping people who can't work right now. That's all you're doing, and there's nothing wrong with it. Paying people you're not paying them not to work, you're paying them because they can't work right now. That's the difference. Like back in 08 and 09, yeah, the jobs were a little bit scarce, but you could still find a job. And I know it's hard to go from a job that you were at for such a long time, go to a new one. It hurts you emotionally and mentally. I understand that. I've been there. But still, there was a little bit more of what you could have done. But I still agree with the stimulus because it's still able to help people go through it a little bit till they could find a job. In this case, you don't know when you're going to have your job back. You don't know when jobs are going to be available again. You don't know. And it's not your fault. And that's why I agree with this aid package, because it's helping people get through a crisis that wasn't their fault. The same with the Great Depression. A lot of that was not their fault. And this is not going to bankrupt the country. Because if it bankrupts the country, we should already have been bankrupted, because it's something they don't talk about. You know how much money we spend on the military a year? $1 trillion or more. We've been doing this probably at least since 08 or even earlier than that. $1 trillion a year, including intelligence agencies, the FBI, police forces, the U.S. military, everything. Weapons contractors, Boeing and all that, the weapons contractors. Mercenaries. We call them military contractors now, but they're mercenaries. Spending tons of money on them. We're sending so much aid to unsavory allies like Saudi Arabia and Israel. Well, Israel doesn't have to pay us the money back. At least Saudi Arabia pays us money for the weapons we give them. Israel, it's a blank check. But $1 trillion in the military. So from 08 to 2020, we've been spending about $12 trillion on the military. Up to now, $12 trillion on the military. You'd think we should already be bankrupt then. But some are claiming that $4 trillion on the economy in the past 20 years is going to bankrupt us? After we've been spending close to $12 trillion on the military? You think that's... we're not going to go bankrupt. Inflation, nothing's going to happen. The ironic thing is, a lot of regulations are actually being lifted to help get medicines out faster, to help get the vaccine developed more faster. So it's like we have some more government control, but we're getting less government control as well. So anyone worried about this turning into a fascist state or a communist or dictatorship, whatever, that's unfounded, because so many government controls are actually being loosened. Okay, they quote government dominance, government control, just the amount of money it's willing to give the people right now. That's all. It's giving a lot of aid, but it's surprisingly actually taken away regulations. The thing that is really the quote draconian part about government. It telling you what to do. It punishing you if you don't go along with it, if you don't agree with it, like Saddam and Stalin and all of them, or putting people in jail for disagreeing with them, or pulling you down because they thought you were disagreeing. Our government's not doing that. The only quote big government that's going on here is that it's giving a lot of money to help people get through a crisis that is not their fault, and there is nothing wrong with that in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is all just temporary, okay? Because otherwise, the really bad quote government controls we think of that's about government really controlling things are actually being lifted. And then this stimulus package, this aid package, on a small note, corporations are getting a lot of the money too. They're getting a lot of the money too, and there are small businesses getting the money as well. This thing is helping everybody. It's not just helping poor, middle class people, it's helping rich people as well. It's helping everybody. And some have been mad because they feel the rich people are getting more of it than the poor people, the middle class. Fact of the matter is, there are flaws with it, yes. But the flaws are probably in the distribution of the money, and they may have fixed that in this last one they just passed. I mean, I would say just try to give an equal amount of money to everybody. But conclusion is, this aid package is necessary to help these people get through the crisis. That's all it is. It's just providing relief. That's it. It's not some government control. It's not, another form of welfare. It's just helping people get through a crisis that wasn't their fault. It's just helping people who've lost their jobs, who are not able to get a job until this thing is over. Okay, that's all it is. And I don't have a problem with it. Sure, some have used this crisis to put things in the bill maybe we don't need, we shouldn't have, but for the most part, the bill is being used as an aid package just to help people get through this crisis. Thank you.